What's up? What's going on, everybody? That's right. We are checking in here. It's the Boxing Source on May 26, 2024. And I got a great guest in here with me to talk boxing. I've kind of like communicated with them, over the past few months or so, whatever it is. Part of Hotep Nation has been on, lives through Kenan Hotep. They're on YouTube. Also has his own YouTube channel where he talks sports. Also does things on sports cards and memorabilia. And you see it in the background there. Very, very good welcome to brother Jay Pylon in the building.
Man, appreciate it. Don DeMarco. What's good with it? JR Bell. Appreciate you, man. What an introduction. I love the sport of boxing. I love the fighting game. I've been watching. I've been an avid sports enthusiast of the fight game for many years now, and it's just one of the passions that I have. I also collect sporting cards of the fighters. I go to the fights as often as I can, and I like to see the fights in person. I like to see the fights online or on the pay-per-view, whatever it may be. And we've had a great week of fighting action, especially with the Usyk and Tyson Fury bout. Yeah. We're going to get into talking about tonight. So it's been an epic, fast-paced week for the sport. It's been a good look.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you had, of course, that undisputed heavyweight championship fight that took place last weekend over in Saudi Arabia there with Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. That was a very close bout that ended up with, Alexander Usyk getting the nod there to become the undisputed heavyweight champion. And, I would love to get your, take on it. I think I got another guest here that's ready to come on here. This is kind of a little bit of a first here for my next guest here. We've been having multiple podcasts here on YouTube together. He is the leader of War Week Boxing. My great friend, brother Joseph Heron from San Antonio, Texas, is in the building. What's going on, Joe?
Hey guys, I'm just here enjoying an afternoon of Sunday before Memorial Day here at Halftime Pizza, official sponsor of War Week Boxing. So here it is.
Yeah, you go. Quick shout out to Halftime Pizza over there in San Antonio, Texas, man. Of course, Joe has been a great friend of mine here through the boxing circles. Has, of course, covered boxing for I'll say a long time. How about that?
Well, just look at the gray in my beard and the gray in my hair. Yeah, it's been a real long time, brother.
Yeah, so we're definitely thankful for him to join on here. Let's open it up. Know that we got brother Jay here, brother Joe here. Just catch up from last week. Wanted to get y'all takes on what happened there in that undisputed heavyweight championship fight between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. There, where it pretty much was a compelling bout, especially in the last 4 rounds there, and the decision came for Alexander Usyk to become the undisputed heavyweight champion there. So, wanted to open it up there with brother Jay Pylon here, being a new guest, and your thoughts on what happened there with Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it was a very close fight. Tyson Fury was doing what Tyson Fury does. A lot of that little playing game that he did, I think that, that's often to his advantage, that he does that little playing sportsmanship around the ring. But in this case, in that undisputed fight, I think it may have been a disadvantage this time around. And I know a lot of people disagreed and said, well, this is just Tyson Fury being Tyson Fury. But there were some pivotal moments in the fight that he really needed to stay on Usyk and keep Usyk at bay. And in order to conquer those rounds, and I think that the rounds were way too close for him to have been trying to do the playmanship, and then the kind of moving around that he was doing, where he was striking Usyk and where he was keeping Usyk on the outside. Obviously, he was winning those rounds. There were 10-9 rounds, many of those. But then Usyk just kept coming. He just kept coming closer and closer to try to edge that gap that was going on in the fight. And then, of course, the knockdown, the 10-8 round, that was pivotal in the bout. So hats off to Usyk for everything that he was able to accomplish. And he really set the pace in those final maybe 4 or 5 rounds that we had, that you could see the judges being swayed in his favor.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Joe, you got to follow up with that?
Well, look, in my opinion, the tone of this fight was set actually in the first round. In my opinion, and you know what, we spoke with James before the fight, and I told James that their strategy was to try and box from mid to long range. That's why he came in so svelte and in shape seemingly. But I don't think anyone anticipated really Alexander Usyk being as proficient as he actually was in cutting off the ring and closing the distance effectively. And he actually found range as early as the final minute of round one. And that really set the tone. And when you think about it, and this is why I really don't like judges scoring, like being dissuaded from scoring even rounds, because then in essence what you get is the uneventful rounds. They actually indirectly determine the outcome of the fight, because if Fury imposes his will and has the adverse strategy in imposing his will, putting his weight on him, forcing Usyk back with his jab, with the big right hand, and actually pushes Usyk backwards, fights off his front foot, he gets the benefit of those close rounds. And let's just face it, guys, after 7 rounds, I had Fury still up, even after giving Usyk the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I had Fury up 5-2.
Yeah.
So if he actually starts off the fight more assertively, the 9th round is pretty much insignificant, and he wins the fight regardless.
Yeah.
So honestly, I thought it was a dubious strategy at best, and we spoke about this, James, before the fight, and we knew that was a bad idea, and why they went through with it, I have no idea. James, why do you think they went through with that? Like I said, dubious strategy at best.
I mean, for Fury to kind of like have his initial strategy to fight off of his back foot was kind of weird to me, because you're pretty much giving up your height, your range, and that reach. Because if you're not completely confident, like for me, if you do it that way, that means you're kind of like saying that you're gonna approach this as a counterpuncher. And the thing about what Fury is, like, he is not that effective as a counterpuncher in comparison to just getting his offense going, throwing the jab, double jab, throw the right hand, and then move around the ring in that type of stuff, which we kind of thought would happen since he was coming in at a little bit of a lighter weight in comparison to his other fights. So him fighting off of his back foot is like something where it's almost like he is doing something that maybe he might not completely be used to, which isn't a good thing, And I said, last week, from a defensive perspective, that's not a good way to do it, because not only you're giving your height and your range, but you're kind of like giving your balance up by doing that. And I felt like that ended up being his downfall, particularly in the 9th round, as he kind of used that to try to avoid punches when Usyk was still in range. And so I feel like if he just did what he was doing from rounds 3 to round 7 or whatever it is, then he could have comfortably got through that fight and got the decision. But credit to Usyk, though. He was able to make those proper adjustments and get under, the jab of Fury to get closer to the inside and get the better of it. So yeah. So
and what, once again, James, it's like I was calling it on my channel live with my brother Lee Cleveland, former prize fighter from DC, and he actually was like, "Hey, I can't believe how easy this seemingly is for Tyson Fury." And I said, "Look, wait a minute, guys." And I think it was around round 6, 5 maybe. And I said, "Look, he seemingly hurt Alexander Usyk to the body, seemed to be in complete control, and was really making it look easy, turning him, keeping the fight in the center of the ring, being the aggressor, being able to lean on him at times on the inside." And I said, well, hold your horses, guys. This fight isn't over. 12 rounds is a marathon. And most importantly, special fighters make adjustments. They adapt. They overcome. And don't be surprised if Usyk does something to change the momentum in his favor. And it happened in 8 and 9 in a very resounding manner. And honestly, that's just what great fighters do. So let's not take anything away from Alexander Usyk. That guy is one bad dude and an all-time great. But guys, look, great fighters make great fights. Both men are great fighters and all-time great heavyweights. And you know what? Bring it on. I want to see another one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it was close enough to where you kind of like said, hey, either fighter could have won the fight. And, you know, at least for me, I felt like it was a knockdown. That was the difference in Usyk taking the decision over Tyson Fury there. So you know, I'm definitely would be interested in the rematch.
I've got a question for your brother Jay now. Jay,
yeah.
Do you think, Jay, who's got the momentum going in the second fight? Do you think that the terrible showing against Francis Ngannou, do you think that affected Fury's mindset going into this fight? And do you think he has the confidence to beat Usyk in a rematch?
I mean, I think that it might have played a little bit, but I don't. I think that he would have put all that past himself and then just really focused on Usyk. And you saw how well he got into shape. And then he tried to play. I don't know if it was kind of like the gamesmanship prior to it that I have not really used to seeing out of Tyson Fury. We're used to seeing him more aggressive, and it was kind of more like the time of strange gamesmanship we've seen out of the fighters lately. Not as drastic as a Garcia, but you know there was like some moments from Fury where I was wondering what is he trying to do here during the press conference and other events. So I think that going ahead, he's gonna. I think he has more pressure on Fury than anything, and less so on Usyk. Because even if Usyk comes up short this time, I don't think that he's going to come up short via being knocked out by Fury, unless Fury really stays to the body game a lot. I think it would take a lot of body shots and then uppercuts to follow up with that in order to really drop Usyk. If it really comes down to it, it really could be another close fight again. And even if there is no knockdown, you know that it could be another. You know, it could be another trilogy that we're looking at here. And I think it's good for the sport of boxing to see these two go at it for a trilogy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, as it being very close, you had you know, a fight that was with two, you know, really skilled guys that were going at it for the majority of the fight. And you know, I definitely would want to see it again. They're planning on having it come up here. This dated for around October. So we got to see if you know, we get more information on if that's going to be solidified. I know that there's going to be some technicalities about that, but you know, that remains to be seen. What you got there, Joe?
James. Now, come on, guys. Let's address the big elephant in the room. 20 million illegal streaming fans worldwide. Is that going to affect the rematch? Is that going to affect Turki Al-Sheikh's overall investment in boxing, period? What does that do for the future of boxing? How do we rectify this? And once again, James, we've talked about this for well over a year, and it seems to be apparently getting worse.
Yeah.
How do we solve this huge dilemma with our beloved boxing?
I mean, Turki Al-Sheikh has been part of, you know, what has it been, about 3 events or so? Well, more than that, but kind of like, you know, four or five events there.
But you realize how much money they lost. And once again, I've told everyone that this is very easily tracked. I'm a musician also. And the way we actually track our music and to see what devices or who's downloaded, we subscribe to Musio. It's the same software that YouTube uses whenever you try to use a song for the intro of your show, and it very quickly identifies it. It's the same software. It's the same technology. And so, yeah, this is a problem. So what my question is, why can't promoters, why can't platforms start using those numbers, 20 million worldwide, and get sponsorship based on those numbers?
I don't know if they kind of like
Rather than put it on pay-per-view, put it on for free and start using those numbers to get some mainstream sponsorship.
I don't know if, like, these promoters are kind of like that forward thinking, because
well, then we're really screwed now, aren't we?
I'm like, obviously this isn't the first time that we've seen a big event have a lot of people stream the fight, basically. So I mean, they know that.
Well, look,
these fights lose a lot of money in that sense. So
Wilder Tyson Fury 2. Wilder Tyson Fury 2. It was using the same museo, right?
Yep.
They sold 875,000 purchases in America, in the American market. But worldwide, it was over 15 million illegal streams. And that was a really popular event in America. And it's getting worse because have you heard anything about pay-per-view numbers reported in the American market? From what I'm being told, Turki Al-Sheikh and the Saudi royal family, lost their ass with this event. I'm hearing over $100 million. They lost.
Yeah.
Now, how? Like, I understand that everyone says, "Oh, they don't care about the money. They don't care about profits." Bullshit. Pardon my French. They are. If they don't see any return and bleed that much money, they're not going to stay in this racket.
Yeah,
they're not going to. It might as well just call it the NFL. Not for long.
You're right. Now, Jay, you're kind of located there in the Midwest, a little bit north of where Joe is. You're out there in Oklahoma, right?
That's correct.
I know that,
Oklahoma.
Yeah. So, and I know that you kind of like you said that you're been a follower of Terrence Crawford, and Crawford does have an upcoming fight August 3rd over in Los Angeles. That will be on DAZN. They plan to have it on DAZN. But at least that is not going to be a pay-per-view. So maybe, that could help things out as far as like overall viewership and have the potential involvement of having sponsorships. So that if a lot of people are able to tune into this, then it starts a trend to have more of these fights or more of these events just on regular DAZN or something like that, instead of, paying $70 or $80 for a pay-per-view,
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the Crawford bout, and I'm with DAZN. I'm using DAZN to watch a lot of fighting, and then I like what I was mentioning before we began, that I like to see the Pro Box Wednesdays. I enjoy watching those, and I'm glad that those are streaming events. And also Fubo Sports, which is on my Samsung, also shows fights from time to time, and I enjoy getting those fights off of Fubo. Is like over the internet air waves. It's for certain people can get it, and it's free to view. So I enjoy watching those fights over there as well.
Yeah, with Fubo, I think they recently have something with Top Rank, where Top Rank has a network on there where they're able to show their fights on that, so people can enjoy previous fights that have been under Top Rank Boxing. So, but I think if they are able to figure out more ways to get boxing to more viewers, then that'll definitely help out the sport. But at the same token, they're gonna have to figure out a way to properly pay the fighters, or the fighters, as me and Joe have kind of like discussed in the past, the fighters might have to sacrifice a little bit when it comes to the change, because it's not going to last this long here while we still have this legal streaming thing going there. So,
think about this, guy. Everyone is looking forward to that Saudi money. All fighters, like when you hear them talk, oh, we'll just take it to Saudi. What happens to boxing in the American market if that's not an option any longer? What happens to PBC? How many dates does Matchroom have in the American market?
That we know of right now, only one.
Yeah. Guys, this is a real problem. So fight fans, rather than actually harping and obsessing over Ryan's positive test, why don't you buy a damn pay-per-view, please?
Yeah. It's like that or as I say, go to the fights. You know, that'd be my thing. Go to the fights.
Indeed.
You know, I know with Jay, not sure, you might be like a little bit of a distance from like say, what is it, Shawnee? I think it's Shawnee, Oklahoma, or they've had like a couple of events in like I think it's Tulsa or something like that where they have boxing events.
It's at the Hard Rock.
Yeah, the Hard Rock over there in Tulsa. Yeah. So
it's about a good 7-hour drive from my house.
So
Texas
like
is so massive, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like, as long as these fans are able to support, the events by, attending the events and then like, eventually buying the pay-per-views, and that could, keep the thing going there as far as like the sport is concerned. But if we still have to deal with all the illegal streaming or whatever it is there, then as long as they have to deal with that problem, it's going to be something, man. Hold up, man. We got some supporters on here right now. Shout out to Ness Mendoza in the building. Says salute to the Bison Source and the panel. Sid from UK, Sid UK. He says salute to everyone. And our guy Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz and more. Salute to you. And Sid says, my brother Joseph looking like a cartel boss. Said my first ASAP, Joe.
It's the ponytail, isn't it, man? That's what it is, right? The ponytail.
It's like we got a minor job.
I get that all the time. Well, I'll tell you what. Stay thirsty, my friend. That's all I have to say.
Oh man. Yeah. So
speaking of which, I'll tell you what, Anthony. Oh, let me have a blue moon, brother. Let me have a Modelo. Yeah, Modelo on tap with some lime, brother. Put it on my tap, my brother. Yes, I'm gonna be having a cold one while we're sharing the air with all of our friends. And you know what? Happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you guys.
Oh yeah. Happy Memorial Day to all of y'all. Just be able to enjoy the weekend, and of course, big shout out to our fallen soldiers there that sacrifice there, for our country. Basically,
My dad was one of them. Yeah.
I should actually go over to Arlington Cemetery. That's not that far from me, actually. So I should be thinking about doing that tomorrow. So do have that. We got more in reference to boxing. I know that we got something coming up here June 1st. I know it's supposed to be Matchroom versus Queensberry 5 versus 5, headlined by the heavyweight bout that we have with Deontay Wilder and Zhang. Of course, you got the Big Bang, Zhang there, and of course, Deontay Wilder, former WBC heavyweight champion. This is like one of those crossroad fights there in the heavyweight division. Both fighters recently lost to Joseph Parker. And the thing about it is like one of these guys would have to, stay on the win column to be able to, basically contend there in the heavyweight division, or pretty much like be around the top 10 in the heavyweight division there. So want to open it up for Jay first to see like what do you think about this fight coming up with Deontay Wilder and Zhang?
Well, they both have Parker in common as a common opponent for them. And I really thought that last time I saw Wilder, he seemed like he may have been underutilizing his jab and his distance. He does seem like he's been coming in a little bit overtrained or something. Seemed like he was really drained. So I haven't seen Wilder be able to bounce back to his former prime self. So it'll be a really tough call for him against Zhang, because we know Zhang has a great counter. We know that Zhang can take a ton of shots. He can take a ton of abuse and just keep coming. And he's one of those knockdown, get right back up and keep fighting type of guys. So I don't know what we'll see out of Wilder. Hopefully he's got something going on with his training camp to where that he could utilize his height again and get back to that bronze bomber style that he used to carry so well against guys like a Zhang. But now at his age and after all these wars that he's been going through, and after the loss with Parker, I am not really sure what to expect out of Wilder. I don't know if we've seen the last of the Wilder, and this is just his downward spiral, or if he's going to bounce back. I'm really not quite sure what he's got left in the tank.
I mean, we got, these two guys that are pretty much like up there, as far as like age is concerned. You got Zhang there at 41 years old, and you got Deontay Wilder there at 38. And, as you were talking about with Wilder, it almost seemed like he was a little bit lethargic of sorts, but he was very predictable there against Joseph Parker. So if he has that same type of predictability against Zhang, who, while he did fall short against Joseph Parker, he was still able to land his left hand and knock down Joseph Parker, on two separate occasions. So if Wilder is, not careful, he will be the one that's going to be slumped on the canvas there. So, hey, that's something definitely I'm gonna be looking out for. Joe, what's your keys there for this upcoming fight?
Well, look, if there's any time for Deontay Wilder to play counterpuncher and cutie pie from mid to long range, it's now. Like, he would be a damn fool to try and be as assertive as he used to be before the Tyson Fury fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, if he tries to sit in the pocket and try to impose his will on the more skilled, technically proficient southpaw, he's going to get flattened and KTFO'd within 3 rounds. There it is. 3 rounds, guys. 3. So this is where he has to use lateral movement, use the entire ring, and force Zhang to try and cut off the ring, close the distance effectively, and run out of gas. And if he can make it past the 5th or the 6th round, which is the big if, because the big bank can crack. If he can do that, he's got a very good chance of putting Zhang into retirement in the mid to late rounds.
Yeah.
Because let's just face it, he still has that sledgehammer of right hand. The Bronze Bomber's a bad dude. And if you go into this fight thinking that he's damaged goods, which, let's just face it, he probably is. But if you go into this fight thinking that he's not the Bronze Bomber still, it could be a very, very hard lesson for Zhang.
Mm-hmm. Now, the thing is, with Wilder coming as with an aggressive style, at least with what he was doing there against Joseph Parker, that aggressive style kind of like made him be out of position because he like overreached, he overstepped, and it was almost like he couldn't gauge the proper range to get to Joseph Parker. Now, to Parker's credit, he is a very good mover there as a heavyweight when he moves around the ring. But you don't necessarily have to worry about that with Zhang. But at the same token, if you miscalculate the range against Zhang and get hit with the left hand, it's going to be a real bad situation there for Deontay Wilder. So at least for the odds, I would say expect a knockout. I'm not saying who, but I'm saying expect a knockout there with that particular bout.
Look, I mean, honestly, let's just face it, James.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though Deontay Wilder, arguably one of the biggest punchers of all time, and when we say all time, boxing has an unusually long and rich history. That's saying something, but man, Zhang can hurt you with so many different punches.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it all. I mean, look at the right hook that he just bombed out Joe Joyce, and he set it up beautifully.
Yeah.
Like straight left hand to the body, right hook upstairs, and down he went like a sack of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And Deontay Wilder, let's just face it, he hasn't looked good. He didn't look good. He looked downright awful against Joseph Parker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You were being nice in your description earlier about that fight. You were being very nice. He looked terrible. Like he looked like he didn't even have the mindset of a fighter anymore. Am I wrong in making that assessment?
No, you're not. No, you're not. I mean, I like there was one picture that I had from that fight where it had like Wilder like in his corner, and you had of course his guy there, Malik Scott as his trainer. You had JD's there as the chief second. But it was just like Wilder just looking, and he was looking slumped over, and it almost looked like he was depressed. Like it was like he almost was like he was done right then and there. Like he didn't want to do it, So it's so
post fight. What was up with that interview post fight, dude?
Oh yeah, that and that
well, he was dejected, right? I mean, the interview was crazy at the end, and then I don't know. Zhang is gonna be there to be hit, but I don't know if we've got to see what's left of Wilder, if he's really coming out there to try to regroup and reassess where he wants to be at in the heavyweight division, or if he's just trying to take last couple of paychecks before he moves on to something else. I'm really not sure where he's going to be at, his mindset, and hopefully he's going to be in there to start a revamp. I'm hoping that's where he's coming in this for, because we know that Zhang is there to be hit. We know that Zhang can take a good shot, and we know that Wilder has the tools to get the job done if he is able to use the lateral movement, if he's able to use the ring to his advantage, and just keep on outboxing or out hitting Zhang on the outside and then maneuvering around. I think it's to his advantage, but where he's at, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out fight night, because the last time we saw him out, it looked like he was finished with boxing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, honestly, it almost reminded me of, remember immediately following Mike Tyson getting his ass whooped by Lennox Lewis, and during post-fight interview where he's kissing his little baby and looked like he just didn't want to have anything to do with the fight game? That's what it reminded me of. It's like, dude, do you still have the appetite for destruction? Because if not, it's a very, very painful existence. It's like, surely if your heart's not in it, surely you can think of a better concept of making money.
Right.
Come on, man. That, like, why would you do this if your heart's, and honestly, can you honestly say that his heart's still in it, his mind is still in it? If he's still, can you honestly say he's still the Bronze Bomber after that?
I don't think so, because like what I'm seeing now from Deontay Wilder was no different than what I saw before his fight against Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the same script and everything like that. And I know that they say that he's like implementing something new, like he's on the track or whatever it is, like he's running or whatnot. But I'm like, come on, yeah, that ain't it. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't end up like you're saying with where you had Tyson losing to Lennox Lewis, and he's like, listen, I don't know, I might just fade into oblivion. But yeah, we got to see here, because the thing is, Deontay Wilder still has an impact there as being basically the last big U.S. heavyweight that we've had. So as long as he still has that aura, he still has that fan following, then people will still be interested in what he does.
Quite honestly, and I know Andy Ruiz he's coming off a long layoff. He probably has a lot of ring rust, but he's not a counterpuncher by trade. He's very assertive. Honestly, I would much rather see Andy Ruiz take on Zhang and then have Deontay Wilder just jump right into Big Baby Terrell or Jared Anderson. I would much rather see that. To me, that's more appropriate. And I'm sorry, right now, this may prove to be a terrible job of matchmaking by Daniel Kinahan. I mean, Turkey Al-Sheikh or whomever. Yeah.
Or whoever.
Yeah, did I say that? I'm sorry, guys. It's the Modelo talking. It's the Modelo. I'll blame it on the Modelo.
Hey,
Skull, brother.
It might end up being a bad situation there for Deontay Wilder, especially if he ends up on the short end. They're coming up on June 1st. They're part of that, 5 versus 5. And I know we're, still disappointed that Artur Beterbiev could be part of this event to have that undisputed against Dimitri Bivol, but we'll get that there a little bit later. I know that, Joe, you have that whole thing with Philip Hergovich and Daniel Dubois. That's also part of that card there in the heavyweight division. That's going to be a big one coming up as well. And there has also been something on the rumor mill in reference to that particular fight. So y'all that are listening, y'all could go on to boxingsource.net and just hit the latest article there on the rumor mill as far as
bookmark.
Yeah, so bookmark it, and that way you get the latest updates on that. But real quick before we go on the rest of that card, I wanted to jump on what happened on Saturday. I'm not sure if Jay, you were able to catch it, or if you saw highlights. There was the fight there with Jack Catterall versus Jack Catterall had that rematch there. And
never bring an American fighter to the British board.
Listen, I'm complaining. I'll never have another American fighter in the UK. The fight, it was like, it's crazy there when you had the decision there with
Quite
Josh
honestly,
Taylor.
that was really cool.
Yeah, that Josh Taylor falling short against Jack Catterall in that rematch. I know that they had the close fight there, of course, a couple of years ago. Where a number of people felt like Jack Catterall won that fight and he could have been the undisputed champion at 140 pounds. But here we are, like 2 years later. Josh Taylor had pretty much like vacated 3 of the 4 titles. He ended up losing to Teofimo Lopez to lose that WBO title, and so he hadn't fought since then. And I felt like this was going to be a pretty tough bout there for Josh Taylor, because I thought that he was still going to be having issues making 140 pounds. But he did make a pretty good account of himself, during that fight. But I felt like Jack Catterall was very sharp over the course of the 12 rounds, particularly in the first half of the fight, controlling it with the jab. He had a very, very sharp, very forceful jab, so to speak. He wasn't like pulling it out there like Josh Taylor was. And he kind of like used that to, be offensive and defensive, because you seen there, Josh Taylor kind of seemed very predictable in his approach before he was, starting his offense off. He would crouch down every single time before he would throw a punch. He would crouch down, so it kind of was very predictable for Jack Catterall there early in the fight. And I think he built like a very good lead there before Jack Catterall kind of, tired down there within the middle rounds, which kind of gave Taylor the opportunity to get back in it there. So real quick, Joe, felt like it was much better than the first fight that took place between them.
Well, yeah, because Josh Taylor looked like he actually still knew how to fight. Because let's just face it, the first showing, it looked like he forgot how to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was very competitive. I loved it. I thought it was very, very entertaining, very competitive. Both guys look very good, but it's such a well, you know what? I'm going to talk about the business end of things after we make this analysis. I'll just say this. From what I saw, you could have scored it a draw. You could have scored it 7 rounds to 5 either way. But come on, 9 rounds to 3 for Catterall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I'm with Bobo here, man. I'm never bringing a fighter with the British board scorecard.
Yeah.
Because I thought the fight was much more competitive.
It was a disgrace.
It was a disgrace. You guys can kiss my American ass. Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, well, you had the thing there with Bob Arum, and even Eddie Hearn agreed. He thought it was closer than that, much closer than 9 rounds to 3. But he felt like, Jack Catterall had the better or the upper hand there.
Well, of course he's going to feel that way. That's his guy.
Yeah.
That's his guy. But think about this. Did you see Eddie Hearn's reaction when Bob Arum was doing his best penguin impression, Bobby Heenan impression with the mic?
Oh, it was like he knew what was going to happen once he gave him the mic. He knew
That
it.
was outstanding. That was good TV right there, brother.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. And I'm telling you, that was like one of my one of the favorite moments for boxing this year with Bob Arum like going out like that, because that's vintage Bob Arum anyway. But to actually see it on camera is really good there. So
I'm surprised you didn't just say, "You guys can kiss my big Jewish ass."
Well, now if he did that, that would have been great. That would be great, especially with them showing it in America on ESPN Plus. It's supposed to be their top rank, TV outlet. So that would have been a good look for it. Oh, you got something, Jay?
Yeah. Well, what is Arum at? Is he at 82 or 182 at this point? He's something up there. He's just been in boxing forever. 92. And those are
he's got to be like around 91, 92 years old or something. But yes, he's still moving and
credit to both of you for capturing Bob Arum's essence here. It was fantastic. The fight was too close to call for me. I didn't think that Catterall Taylor too, right? Here we are again. And I thought that the fight was really close. There was a lot of pushing. I would say that the ref did a decent job. I thought there was some of the behind the head shots from both guys. And I thought there was a lot of pushing and shoving. What was it, the 11th? The 11th round, whenever was it Catterall that fell over in the corner? I don't know if you can.
Yeah, well, in the 11th round, they had the thing where they were clinched up, and the referee came in and broke them up. Then Taylor was coming forward, and then when he came forward, Jack Catterall caught him with the left hand that like really stunned Josh Taylor. And when that happened, I was like, oh, maybe Catterall would be able to jump on him at the very least score a knockdown.
Right.
But once he had gotten to the ropes, he kind of smothered himself. And then they got into that clinch, and then they ended up falling over into the canvas. Yeah.
So were you trying to score this fight round by round to see where it was at? Because I don't know, it was way too close for me. So what was your scorecard looking like at the end of this thing?
I pretty much like had it like 8 rounds to 4 in favor of Jack Catterall because of his I felt like he was like getting the tone early.
Mm-hmm. So you gave the early rounds to him.
Yeah, like there was only like 1 round that I gave to Josh Taylor early, and that was pretty much like round 3. And then after that, you had like rounds 4, 5, 6, pretty much like all in favor of Jack Catterall. So he was already having like 5 rounds in the bank by then.
All right, but it wasn't anything where Catterall could be considered as being way in advance over him at any point. I thought it was always kind of close. I thought it was always with the tangling up that they had going on between each other and the separation and the behind the back shot that he did. Was it round 5 or whatever that was? I just don't know if the referee could have done something different in order to try to get things moving, or if it's just the way that those two guys are always going to fight together. Yeah. Is there going to be a part 3 out of this, you think?
Hell no.
In the States?
Hell no.
In the States? No?
Hell no. Well, and this is why I didn't want to talk about this part first. Because let's look, our forte, James, has always been the business of boxing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where's the market for a 3rd fight? Okay? So once again, I really feel for Catterall. Josh Taylor, let's just face it, he's got to move up to 47 if he wants to be effective still. But even if they did stage a third fight, is there a demand for it? And where the hell do you put it? Is Catterall a ticket seller?
Nope.
So logically, you've got to put it in Scotland. That's the only place that fight sells. And is Catterall going to want to do that?
Go over to Scotland. Like, come on. Like, he ain't going to do that.
No. So that's why I'm saying impossibility. There's no demand for a 3rd fight. Neither guy's a huge ticket seller. The only place that Josh Taylor's a ticket seller is in Scotland. Mm-hmm. And that's not going to happen. And let's just look at Catterall moving forward. Who's going to give him a title opportunity? That guy's a spoiler. He's a counterpuncher by trade. And if you put him in the American market, he's going to want too much damn money. Gabriel Matias, is he going to want to go over to Leeds with those scorecards?
No. But
what about Pitbull Cruz? That's a great style matchup, but is he going to want to go over to Leeds and defend his title?
Nope.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Catterall is a guy. Like, what the hell is he going to do? What is Matchroom Sport going to do with this guy?
I don't know.
Nothing. Big fat zero. So if I'm promoting him, I'm like, look, I see how many fights I still have left on contract with this guy, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to release you because I can't do a damn thing with you. Like, seriously, what do you do with him if you're a promoter? What does Eddie Hearn do with him? He's not an attraction.
He got,
and he
like
doesn't
you said,
fight in an overtly fan-friendly style.
But here, I'll come up with another potential matchup that's there under Matchroom, but they wouldn't do that either. But shout out to World Ranked in the building. He says Catterall needs a title shot. Anything else is a disservice to his career, and he says that Catterall is not expensive. Yeah, I mean he's not expensive, but the thing about it is
compared to whom? Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney? Yeah, compared to those guys, he's not. But I promise you this: do you think he's going to want to fly over to America and take B-side money, less than $500,000? Hell no, dude. After those verses from Eddie Hearn,
check it. Take B-side money to fight Gabriel Matias at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. Nah, I don't think so. Is he gonna take short money to face Richardson Hitchens in the same? No, he's not gonna do that. So what else can you do?
He got screwed. And once again, he made his bed. Now he's got a lie in it. This is what happens when you pay out inflated purses to non-ticket sellers.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to have to. I think he's going to have to take on 5 guys at once, a la George Foreman, all over again. Build some Catterall interest.
No, I'll tell you what he's going to have to do is start being more assertive, start being more fan friendly. That's what he's going to have to start doing.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You know what the old saying is: necessity is the mother of invention. Hey, reinvent yourself in the ring, brother.
Yeah, because even with the previous fights that he had, like with the Jorge Linares fight too, like I thought he would have had an opportunity to like really get something and try to stop Linares or just get that name on his record and stop him, but he couldn't even do that.
Snoozer.
Yeah. So, and if you're able to try to stop Josh Taylor, that would have been very good on your record, but he couldn't do that. So,
nope.
So that's the thing.
He almost fights like, if I didn't know any better, I'd say he was the lightest skinned Cuban I've ever seen in my life, because he fights just like a Cuban fighter.
No, you know what? He's the UK version of Sandor Martin. How about that?
Oh, you know what? That's exactly what he is. And how many tickets does Sandor Martin actually sell? Even in Madrid.
-5? Come on.
And what do I always say? He couldn't sell at my living room on a Saturday night, brother.
Yeah.
And there it is. There it is. So once again, unfortunately, that's the business end of things. What the hell is Eddie Hearn going to do? Hey, guess what? In the immortal words of James Gogi, that's not our problem.
Or you say, listen, Joe, it's not my fucking problem.
Hey, by the way, James Gogi is going to be coming on in about an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, so y'all be sure to tune in on War Week Boxing's YouTube channel there, where he's gonna have that coming up here. So
hold on. Electro Jet, he says, okay, now you guys are just being hurtful. No, we're not. We're just being truthful. There's a big difference. Now, if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry for that, but that doesn't make it any less truthful.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Jay, what are your thoughts on this? Are we being a little too harsh?
Too harsh on Car. I don't know. It's like a spoiler, like you said. I mean, we saw what happened with TFM when Sandor Martin, right? Sandor Martin. When he took on Lopez, he had some good shots in there. It was potentially gonna wreck things for Lopez, but Lopez pulled everything back together and was able to get him out of there. But I think you're looking at the same thing with Catterall. As he goes on and fights other fighters, it's kind of risky for them. He could potentially get something going. I don't know where they're going to put him going forward. Like these guys said, I think I agree with your assessment. Where does he go from here? Where are they going to place him amongst these other fighting options? And because it's one of those things where he doesn't necessarily sell the fights, and then so that's going to be tough for the promotion team to figure out where they want to put him at. But I would like to my silly suggestion about him fighting 5 fighters at once. Maybe he gets involved in some kind of a tournament or something like that, or maybe he goes out there and reasserts himself in the field of that, and we could see him potentially move in another direction. And brings to mind, and this is a completely different subject on it, but maybe a Boo Boo Andre set the situation where you're sitting there in limbo, where you're like, oh, you did good against these X, Y, and Z, and now you just don't get a shot at any of the big guys. None of the big wigs will. None of the big wigs
will kind of say that they want to go ahead and fight you. Yeah. I mean,
you're overlooked the entire time. Whereas where you show off that you can sell the tickets or that you're beatable. Those are the type of fights the big names want to pick up guys that they're fan friendly and that people show up for. So it's very hard with some of those guys.
Do you know why they want those? Because they can. That's why. Look, if you can sell tickets, you get to basically pick you have your choice of opponents. Let's just face it, guys. If Devin Haney was a huge ticket seller at this time, as vulnerable as he looked with the WBC title, everyone would be standing in line to fight Devin Haney. But do you see that happening right now?
Nope.
No.
I got.
Instead, everyone's still standing in line to fight Canelo Alvarez. Everyone's standing in line to fight now Ryan Garcia. You even have guys calling him out at 154 pounds.
Yeah.
That's the truth of this business. Once again, we're not being hateful. And once again, world rank, he says, what's the difference between him and Hitchens? Nothing. They both couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night.
Right. Yeah, both of them. So, like for example, Catterall.
I haven't had a beer in a very long time. That was my first. Here's my second. Happy Memorial Day to all of you guys. God bless all of you.
Shout out to World Rank. Of course, he's been a past guest on the Boxing Source from way back. The thing is, like you were saying there, Joe, they're pretty much like the same person in the same situation in the US and the UK.
Yep.
You had Hitchens in the that, like I mentioned, the Fountain Blue in Las Vegas, where he had his last fight, and he couldn't really sell anything there, So hold up. I think he's gonna actually jump in. Hold on though. I'm gonna see if he could get on here, because he hasn't been on this podcast here for a while. So this looks like it's gonna be a pretty packed show here, man.
Well, I tell you what, I only have about looks like my battery is running dead. I've got to charge it, so I only have about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna see if I can send them the
link. Go ahead, man. Let's hear from another voice.
So go ahead and check it out there on Twitter, man. I'll send it out there to your World Rank, so you can chop it up here for a little bit. Well, let's see. Like what else is that we're looking forward to on the schedule? I know you got the thing there with Tank Davis.
Martin.
Tank versus Frank Martin.
Well, look, guys, and once again, is this going to be in the rumor mill? Have you addressed that the rumor mill as far as PBC June 15th or
Not
talk
yet.
about that or no?
Not
Okay,
yet.
very good. We won't talk about that then. I will say this though, guys. Yeah, I can't talk about that. I'm not supposed to.
Okay.
And I definitely don't want to until you've written about it, James. So,
All right, gotcha.
but I will say this though. What do you think about Bill Haney's campaign of damage control? Like these absurd videos that he's putting out with his kids, this strange novella type featurette calling out Floyd Mayweather, accusing him of being the drug pusher. Like, what is all that nonsense?
It kind of gives me Teofimo Lopez Senior vibes, basically. You know, it's like well, the thing is with Bill Haney, he likes to be in the spotlight, but there's like some things where he's gonna have to, you know, kind of like fall back on that a little bit. Before I was able to get World Ranked on, shout out to Sid UK. He says that Catterall style is taking market share away from sleeping meds. Nobody wants to see the rematch.
He's got the beat. Sid always has the beat. Yes, sir.
Man. All right, I got my brother World Ranked in the building, man. It's been a good little minute. What's happening with you? World Ranked, you able to hear us? Oh man, let me see, man. Yeah, it looks like there's been trouble on the audio side. I can't hear him.
Yeah, well, look, guys, I'm on 2%, so I only have about 5 minutes left.
Yep. All right. So, real quick, y'all, I did share the link on the chat there for the upcoming show that Joe will have on his channel. So, y'all can be sure to bookmark that as it'll be on. It looks like it's scheduled for 6 p.m.
Hey,
Eastern.
brother, here's to you, my friend.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, big thanks for Joe for joining us here live, and we'll be sure to catch him here later on as he'll have Coach James Gogi and his takes on what happened during the week coming up.
Oh, boy, you're in for a real treat. He's on fire earlier, so I'm assuming you're going to hear more of the same in about an hour and a half. But, hey, guys, I'm on 1% now. I'm going to have to jump off. And I'm sorry, World Rank. You didn't get to chew my ass live on the air. I'm sorry about that, brother. Maybe some other time. But, James, thank you for always being the gracious host. Jay, excellent to chop it up with you. Guys, God bless, and keep on supporting your beloved boxing. Remember, financially supported, don't steal. Starting on June 1st, do not steal. Yep. God bless all of you guys.
All right. Thank you there, Joe. Thank you. So yeah, that was Brother Joseph Heron of War Week Radio. Like I said, he's been covering the sport of boxing probably twice as long as I've been covering the sport, and that's been like at least 10 years or so. You know what I mean? So big ups to him, man. Let's see if I think I can hear World Rank. World, I hear like something. Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, it's Mr. Who You Pick. Mr. Boxing is a Business was good.
What's happening with you, man? Been a long time.
Been a long time, absolutely. So I wanted to kind of go back on the Catterall situation because I think what you guys were talking about and what you guys kind of are missing is the B-side aspect. Like these big names need B-side fighters. So we see Haney, he's getting his title back. Who is he going to fight in this comeback fight? He needs an opponent. You know?
Sandor, though.
What's the name?
He got that mandatory due. Should be due. Sandor Martin should be due.
Okay, Sandor Martin. But again, Sandor Martin compared to Jack Catterall. Catterall is a little higher level than Sandor Martin. And the fact that Sandor Martin can get the fight means that Catterall can get the fight. You get what I'm saying? So the level is the same. So there's always going to be guys who need opponents. Sabril Matisse is facing someone, another B-side guy, another guy that's not a A-level fighter. So these champions or these names need B-sides. And Catterall has enough profile to be a B-side to one of these guys. Not only that, the aspect that you guys made the point, which is such, I don't know who made the point, but it was such ridiculous that Eddie Hearn would drop Catterall. That makes absolutely no sense. This guy was a main event on a UK telecast. You telling me in a fight that he won that they just going to drop him? That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I mean, we had it over at ESPN Plus here in the U.S. because you had Josh Taylor as a top-ranked affiliated fighter, but everywhere else it was on the zone, and for the UK it was on the zone there. So yeah, that's the thing about it. But Big he was able to release a text here. He says Catterall doesn't have the side skill. He's going to be considered too much risk for the reward and consequently avoided like the plague. So, I mean, I don't know. We have
isn't that Sandor Martin? Isn't that Richard Hitchison? There's always going to be B-level guys that are dangerous, but at some point, and Catterall is ranked highly in the WBO, so he's going to get his shot. You can't, like, he might not get his shot in his next fight, but he has to get his shot. Like the way the business has done him, he's going to get his shot. At some point, he's going to get his shot, and I just don't think it's right.
It had a potential matchup, but it's not necessarily within matchroom. But you have somebody in there that's on the Golden Boy, recently signed on the Golden Boy that had his fight, there in California, and Jose Ramirez. And so him against Catterall, like how would that be, sorted out, or if they're able to arrange a fight for that? Because that would be a top contender match there in the 140-pound division.
Absolutely, because these guys have to fight somebody. Ramirez he's a somewhat of a drawer, right? So we don't need Catterall to be a drawer in that fight. And you guys were talking about the LaFonte Blue Hotel fight or whatever. That's as small and as unsellable as those fights. Those fights happen often too. The zone still has to fill up their cards with fighters and guys that are in meaningful fights. This guy's a main event in a recent meaningful UK fight, which has some type of meaning on the world level. There's no way that he's not going to get a meaningful fight, even if he's not the A side or if he's not going to, be the home fighter. I just think that thought process is ridiculous. When in fact we got Teofimo Lopez fighting Steve Claggett. Steve Claggett doesn't deserve a fight more than Jack Catterall at that weight, but he's getting it. So why can't Jack Catterall get a fight?
I got a point there with that. Yeah, like Steve Claggett, I'm like they went down the gamut as far as like who would Teofimo Lopez to finish out against, and they picked him for some reason. I mean, recently, Top Rank just picked up Elvis Rodriguez. I think he's gonna be part of that card. So I don't know. Maybe they'll have this title defense against Claggett, and if he gets through that, then maybe they have Elvis Rodriguez are there available for Teofimo Lopez. But yeah, as far as like a higher rank contender, yeah, of course, Jack Catterall is definitely out there. So we got to see how Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing is going to work it. When it comes to Jack Catterall here, upcoming. So you do have that.
I do want to make one more conversation about Josh Taylor, because I came in here years ago and I made a claim, and I'm sticking to this. I made a claim that Josh Taylor 141 run was better than Terrence Crawford's run.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go back and I know people going back and hindsight now and questioning to a certain degree Josh Taylor. Was he this good or was he that good or whatever? I still say record for person that they fought during their run, Josh Taylor run is still better than Terrence Crawford. Period. Not Terrence Crawford is a fighter, but his run at 140 was better than Terrence Crawford run at 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, we at least I've seen a recent post in reference to the era, or basically the list of 140-pound fighters that were pretty much the top fighters at the time. You had Josh Taylor, you had Regis Prograis, you had Jose Carlos Ramirez that were among the top there at 140, and Josh Taylor ended up coming at the as the top fighter there to become the undisputed champion at the time. But ever since then, a lot of those fighters have fell short, so to speak, with the exception of Ramirez, who only just has that one loss to Josh Taylor. So that's the thing, What it says, here's it. Who is it? Oh, he must be talking about the thing there with Steve Claggett or whatever it is. Yeah. It says, like, how many opportunities is David Morrell Jr. getting? He at 168. He has to move up to 175. Yeah, he's facing, Radovoj Kalajic, that had his recent fight on Pro Box TV, which what Jay mentioned as far as, like, who he catches. So, you know, you got to be able to find the best opportunities out there, depending on what your skill level is and who's out there willing to fight you. So it's a complex situation out there when it comes to the business of boxing. And I'll be able to, like, go through that later on, in the week or whatnot, because it's a lot of stuff that is going down, particularly for this year, that'll really shape the future of boxing, particularly in the United States, because as we mentioned in our previous conversation, like, a lot of people, not basically going through different means to watch these pay-per-view matchups is kind of hurting the sport of boxing there at the top level. So if they can't get good enough support through that pay-per-view, then you might not be seeing that many pay-per-views, period. Actually, like for example, with the Top Rank Boxing, you only had like one pay-per-view last year, and that was that Haney versus Lomachenko. And this year, I don't think you're going to be seeing any pay-per-views from Top Rank, because I don't see who would be a pay-per-view fighter for. So definitely have that. Just seeing here, man, World Rank, you haven't been on here for a while, man. Like, what's your take on what happened last week with that Fury versus Usyk?
I mean, it's always good for the sport to have clarity, because I'm all for clarity in the division. So, I mean, what Usyk did is an unbelievable feat, coming from cruiserweight, unifying, and then doing what he did at heavyweight. And I don't think he's, people respect him and understand that he's a great fighter, but I don't think he's getting his true due of what he's really accomplished in this game. And it's just him and New Age Crawford, just all those guys. It's just great to see people put periods on their careers and on their statements, and there's no debating or arguing their greatness.
Yeah. And the thing with you were saying something, Jay?
Well, I think they got Ring. The Ring have Usyk down as number one pound for pound right now. I think they got Inoue or Crawford at number two, and I feel like that spot is almost interchangeable. We got Crawford and Inoue at number two, and Usyk at number one. So I think that we're gonna keep on seeing, especially if he's able to hold this crown. I think we're going to keep on seeing the star of Usyk continue to rise, and his appreciation and his flowers due given to him, especially over time. I think that's really, really something special and great that he was able to accomplish, and that the entire undisputed spot that he was able to gain. I think that's really, a career achievement, but not only for the sport of boxing, but for himself and for his country too. And that's what he was highlighting. So I think that's going to be going forward. A lot of people recognizing him for it.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I have that as the order for my pound for pound list. You have Usyk number one, Inoue number two, and Crawford number three. There for the top 10 pound for pound rankings. You can check that out on the website. That's down below there, theboxsource.net. Check out pound for pound. You'll see the list. And the thing about with Alexander Usyk is he's pretty much like accomplished what we kind of like seen with the Vander Holyfield or Michael Moore, back in the 90s. Them coming up from the cruiserweight divisions as world champions there in the cruiserweight divisions, and then being able to come up to heavyweight and become your heavyweight champion or be the top fighter in the heavyweight division. So, definitely props for Alexander Usyk to be able to accomplish that feat, and kind of like say that he's one of the greatest fighters probably that we've seen in the past 25 years or so. So definitely props to him for that. But wanted to get back, see if I can get another guest back on here. Maybe has his phone on charge. think he's gonna counterpoint what World Rank is saying there. Brother Joe is back on with us there. You hear us, Joe?
Hey, can you hear me? Hold on, brother. Let me
Yep.
see if I have my correct mic on. Hold on. Oh, this is better. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Like, honestly, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to start on the Josh Taylor, Terrence Crawford comparisons, or just the fact that Jack Catterall is a non-factor in the 140-pound weight division at this point. Now, proof of the pudding is Eddie Hearn is going to drop this guy like a bad habit. And why? Because he can't sell tickets. Now, seriously, you could be the most skilled fighter in the world, a.k.a. Guillermo Rigondeaux at one point in time. But if you can't sell, what the hell is any promoter going to do with you? And the fact of the matter is, Jack Catterall cannot sell.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? What fighter you know? What fighter you know won a on DAZN, HBO, PBC, any card you ever want to think about, a main event for a 12-man main event, and got dropped by their promoter in the fight that they won.
I just named one. Guillermo Rigondeaux, after Joseph Igbeko, got dropped like a sack of potatoes.
I'm gonna have to research that, because that's
No, I'm telling you that for a fact. Once again, I'm not
just because you said that. Just because you said it doesn't mean a fact. And
no, please pump your brakes, brother, because I've been in this business for over 20 years. And
that doesn't mean you're automatically right. That does not mean you're automatically right. That does not mean you're automatically right. That does not mean you're automatically right.
But I know this for a fact. I know this because I spoke with not only Ken Hirschman about this, but also Bob Arum as well as Bruce Trampler when it happened. Okay, so there.
Who was Rigondeaux's promoter at that time?
Bob Arum, top rank.
When he beat Igbeko?
Yep.
Joseph Igbeko.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was walking out of the arena. And Ken Hirschman was like, "What are you doing? I don't want to see this guy on HBO ever again."
Didn't he fight Donaire after that?
No,
that Donaire fight was
way before.
That was the fight before that. And remember that Donaire fight when he basically outboxed Donaire. That was when Bob Arum was making those comments about Guillermo Rigondeaux. So they pretty much had the idea that they knew that he wasn't going to be a good seller. After that
Once
fight,
again, if you cannot sell tickets, what is any network or promoter going to do with you? Trust me, it's only a matter.
Okay. Tim Bradley is a Hall of Fame fighter. He could not sell any tickets. What are we talking about? Now, if you say that he's going to get dropped because of TV ratings, that's fine. But to say somebody's going to get dropped because they're not selling tickets, Tim Bradley never sold tickets ever.
Okay, so do you
as an ASAP, never ever.
Okay, fine. He never sold a big venue. That's fine. But at least he fought in a fan-friendly, entertaining style.
That's not what you said. That's not what you said, though. You said that he would be dropped because he doesn't sell tickets. Is it either he sells tickets or is it he has to be an exciting fighter? Which one is it? It's not that you can't sell tickets, because I just proved that wrong.
I'm sorry, what?
Obviously, it's not because he can't sell tickets, because I just proved that wrong with Tim Bradley.
I'm sorry, brother. Are you getting butthurt because you're one of only 2 members of the Jack Catterall fan club? Is that what this is? Because right now,
if you want to say it, yes, I'll play your game. Yes,
hold on.
I'll play your game. It's just that you talking absolute nonsense to say Jack Catterall is going to get dropped. That's absolute nonsense. I can bet you any amount of money. We can do anything. We can do a donation to a charity. We can do whatever you want, and I will prove to you that he would not get dropped by.
And how are you going to prove to me? How are you going to prove to me when that happens?
We can put a stipulation on it. Is he going to get dropped by next year or next two fights? However you want to do it.
I'm sorry you're getting all emotional about this, but I'm not emotional about any of
Okay,
this.
that's fine. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Let's ask the other panels. Do they think? Let's ask them. Let's ask them their opinion. Do they think Jack Catterall will be dropped? Let's just ask them.
No, Don. If you could be quiet for 1 second, I'm going to explain while I'm telling you this. I've got 20 years of experience in this business telling you this. Okay. Now, once again, this is not just emotion. This is not my emotion speaking, unlike you. This is experience. So
can we ask the panel? Can we ask the panel?
Of course, but hold on for a second. So why are you arguing with me about this? That's what I want to know. So what is this based off of? And why are
because I'm trying to win the argument, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to prove a point to you. I might be wrong. I might actually be wrong. I want other people's. I want to ask other people's opinion. If they agree with you, then I lost the argument. If they say that I'm wrong and they say that he will be dropped, I lost this argument. I concede this argument. Can they answer the question?
Well, I'm not sure. Jay, could you give your take
it makes no difference to me whether or not Catterall is dropped from his promotions team or not going forward. I said that he's a spoiler. I could see that would be why maybe certain groups wouldn't want to put him up against certain fighters. But we're seeing with Martin being pushed in is something that the WBC wants to see against Devin Haney. Obviously, they believe that Devin Haney has the tools and the capability to beat Martin. We've seen that Martin is susceptible to some things. As far as Catterall goes, I could care less.
And that proves my point. Why couldn't you care less, Jay? Because he doesn't sell tickets and he's a non-factor.
It's not a super interesting quantity for me. I'm interested in seeing him fight Josh Taylor, and beyond that, if he gets dropped, I could care less.
That's it. That says it all now, doesn't it, James?
So in my thing, I'm in the business of it. So I look at what he's done in the past. Like, look at, his fights against Derek Foley last year and Jorge Linares last year. So they're going to be looking at the numbers. They're going to be looking at the numbers of that Foley fight, the Linares fight, and the Taylor fight, and then comparing it to like how much he's getting paid. And if they don't feel like those numbers are matching up, hey, tough break for you, Jack Catterall. We can't continue to do business with you. So that's the thing that I'm going to be looking at here in the near future. And the thing about it is like with Jack Catterall, he's going to be looking for those, pivotal fights there within the 140-pound division. And I know that, Eddie Hearn wants to talk about him getting a world title shot. I don't think that's going to be happening next. And he's going to have like another fight that's going to be out there before he gets a shot at one of those world champions, at the very least.
And there it is. So I don't think I have to say anything else.
Okay. The fact that you just lied.
Lied?
Guillermo, here I'm about to prove it to you. Guillermo Rigondeaux's next fight after Egbeco was a top-ranked card. We can't sit here and lie on people and say that this guy did his next fight after what you said after this, he got dropped after the
Where was it at? And that was his final fight.
Again. Then you go moving the goalpost again, just like you did with the Catterall argument. You're moving the goalpost. Your words were after the Egbeco fight. Actually, no. Top rank dropped him. See, you can't come on here and spread and say untrue stuff and then say, "Oh,
that's not
James." Hey, brother, why is this fanboy?
He's not. No, he's not that. But we're
like seriously.
Like we go. Like I just went on and I looked up the thing there for Guillermo Rigondeaux, and the next fight that he had after Joseph Egbeco was against Enesor Yatjin over in Macau
on a top ranked card.
That right there.
Well, it says promoter right there. It says promoter and matchmakers. Sean Gibbons and Brad Goodman are top ranked matchmakers. That's I mean I don't know what y'all watching or what y'all looking at, but it's not the point of it's if
What is the point then, sir?
that you're lying. That's the point. You're telling untrue stuff. You're telling stuff that is not true. You can't sit here and say he got dropped after the Bego fight, and then I showed
He did.
Box Red
HBO
show.
never featured him again. HBO never featured him again. Okay.
Again, you didn't say that was not your initial point. Again, you're sitting here and you're moving the goalpost again. You're moving the goalpost again.
You're incapable of ascertaining any of my points because you're so like you're so fixated upon getting butthurt. Dude, just take your emotions out of this and just listen. This is for your benefit because I already know this shit, brother.
You just lied. How you know the shit and you just lied, bro?
Oh my gosh, dude. James. What's going on here, bro?
Hey, so we got the Keggy on here. What he says, I don't think Catterall is going to do much more than beating Taylor. He says that Catterall is a good boxer, but nothing more. For some reason, he just had the hex over Taylor, but no way he beats the likes of Surreal Matias, Teofimo Lopez, Pitbull Cruz, or Devin Haney. So he doesn't give him much of a shot against any of the current world champions. And, I already mentioned potential matchup with Jack Catterall and Jose Carlos Ramirez, another former world champion there himself. So, I mean, there's definitely some potential fights out there, for Jack Catterall. But, like Jay was saying, like, it doesn't necessarily move the needle for him. So how is it going to be, for the general public as far as, like, what Jack Catterall could potentially do, out there? So do have that.
I'm sorry. I think y'all mistaken. Like, is he like? I'm not saying he's gonna be the world beater. I'm not even saying that. All I'm saying is this dude needs his opportunity. After he got robbed in the first fight of being a unified champ, he's gonna get his shot. Like at some point, he's gonna get a shot. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a great fighter. I'm not saying that he's gonna move the needle. I'm just looking at it from his standpoint as if I was his promoter. And if I'm his promoter, I'm not gonna try to be an A side and I'm just trying to get a meaningful title fight, even if I lose, and then I'm done. I'm just saying he deserved that opportunity. That's it.
So I mean,
being deserving and getting one are two very, very different things, right? So once again, you think he's going to get this opportunity based on what? His good looks? What?
Based on the politics of the sport. The politics of the sport. He's highly ranked in the WBO. This guy's not going to be left out. Why would they even put him on like a main event like that with the Taylor fight if he's not going to get another meaningful fight?
How many WBO mandated fights have there been in the last 3 years that haven't happened? Like let's shift gears to Devin Haney, right? Does anyone on God's green earth truly believe that Devin Haney will defend his title against Sandor Martin? Come on, guys. Let's be honest. Now, once again.
So are you saying he's not? Are you saying he's not?
Of course not.
Nah.
Why be? And you know why? Now, once again, we're going to educate you, brother. So here it is. Here's the reality of the business. Devin Haney has already grown accustomed to receiving huge purses. He's going to take one look at the money available for a Sandor Martin fight. And yeah, he's going to run to the hills. He's going to say, you know what? I'd rather ditch this title and just go have another rematch with Ryan Garcia. That's more than likely what's going to happen. And how can we actually tell you this with great confidence? Because we've been in this business. We understand the business. We're not just fans. So you actually sitting here and arguing with me is actually quite insulting. You're not only ignorant, but you're arrogant as well.
So, and I can't wait to get back on this show. I can't wait to get back on the show when Devin Haney doesn't fight Ryan Garcia and sit here and tell you that you think you know what you don't know. I'm gonna be right back here and tell you that
20 years in this business and staging my own fight cards tells you and tells me that yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing and I kind of know what I'm saying to be reality. And there it is.
James, you know I come back with receipts, bro.
Yeah,
James, you know I come back with receipts.
I know you
You
do.
know I
Will.
come.
I know you
You
do.
know I
Will.
come back with receipts.
Right.
You know I come
know
back
you
with
do.
receipts.
So,
Don't
but
talk about her. You just
but
said,
my
hey,
thing,
dude, I'm
hold on,
sorry.
real quick. Hold on, real
You would
quick,
be
Joe.
good.
Real quick, Joe. My thing in reference to Devin Haney in his current state right now, right? We had the whole controversy, whatever it is, there with Ryan Garcia. But as of right now, Devin Haney does have a loss on his record. And we all know about his pay that he's been getting, for his past few fights. His overall value is going down, regardless of what they do with the result with Ryan Garcia. So the expectation for Devin Haney to get a good payday against the Sandor Martin when you really couldn't really draw that many people to your fight that was over in San Francisco against Regis Prograis, yeah, I don't think that he would be too inclined to try to go for a fight against Sandor Martin at this point. But that remains to be seen. I just don't think I don't think it'll happen because
Nope.
as we said, like money for a Sandor Martin fight, nah. Like Devin Haney doesn't have that status where he could just about fight anybody and get a good payoff of it because people want to see him fight. So it's a thing.
He's in a real predicament because he's a product of receiving inflated purses. So he's in a real predicament right now. What now, James, realistically? And Jay, this is for you as well, sir. Now, what are his options realistically outside of a rematch with Ryan Garcia that's going to yield the kinds of dollars that he's grown accustomed to receiving?
You go ahead, Jay, because I got my answer for sure.
Yeah. Woo.
I mean, whether Haney's put out there on Twitter and Instagram, some other stuff. I'm not vacating anything. I want all the smoke. I mean, that's what he's saying ahead of this. And maybe Bill Haney is thinking that this is going to be something of a tune-up for him before he goes back and takes the money fight. Maybe they think he needs some kind of a different type of fight for him going forward, and they go ahead and go with it anyway. But the money option is there's not. This isn't going to be a money fight. I don't believe, it's Sandor Martin. So going forward, I really don't know who he fights. I'm not going to be able to sit here and peer into a crystal ball or anything for you guys and tell you who he's going to fight, Sandor or he's going to go after Garcia. For those things, I just don't know. But I'm looking forward to see whatever Haney and Bill Haney come up with because they're entertaining and Devin is a pretty good, solid fighter, and I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again.
Indeed.
I respect that. I respect that answer because you hear people saying that like they know that this guy is about to fight a rematch with Ryan Garcia, and you were smart enough to at least have the mind open to a possibility that it might not be Ryan Garcia.
Adam Hurley doesn't think Devin is going to fight Ryan again. He says it's not about the money. Haney was humiliated. I don't know, man. I mean,
I'll tell you what, I've got about 10 million reasons why Haney will indeed fight the rematch. About 10 million reasons why.
Well, maybe 10 million one because we haven't gotten the one reason yet. And that's going to be the one that kind of like will have people in an uproar, so to speak, because it's Ryan Garcia and the eventual result that's going to end up happening.
That is a massive fight, considering everything that has happened since then, right? Since the decision, look at all the controversy. This fight will be twice as big as the first one. And the first one was a huge commercial and critical hit. Think about this, James. How many fights in North America are as big as a rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney?
None right now. None.
I rest my case, sir. Once again, there are only two reasons. Now, who's the gentleman that we've been talking to? World Rank. World Rank. With all due respect, sir, there are only two reasons why anyone gets into the boxing business. James, can you tell me what they are? One, to make money. Two, to make more money. That's it. If you think it's about legacy or anything else, any of that other fan-driven horseshit, well, then I've got some oceanfront property to sell you in San Antonio, Texas.
you know what's the great part about you saying what you're saying? That we actually gonna see the answer. So I can say whatever I want, you can say whatever you want, but when the fights get signed, that's when you'll see me again. That's when I'll pop out again when Haney signs his next fight and sees he fight. And also, Mr. All Knowing, what will the sanctioning body do when Sandor Martin and Haney goes up for purse bid? What will happen?
What makes you think it's going to go to purse bid?
I'm asking you. I don't know what it's going to go to. I'm asking you. I want to know your answer.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. So once again, Sandor Martin, James, let me ask you something, James.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone ever looked good against Sandor Martin?
Ask Teofimo Lopez.
And ask Mikey Garcia, right?
Yeah.
So do you see Devin Haney being the very first? So what are the chances of that fight actually taking place?
Slim to
It's
none.
slim and none, guys. It's no money, and he's going to look like horse shit. He's going to look like dog shit against him. So I'm telling you right now, that fight's not going to happen, sir.
Listen, I'll be absolutely shocked if that fight takes place anywhere.
Yep.
I'd be shocked. Like you like with Devin Haney, there's multiple options that may be out there for him. The only thing that I would see him fighting Sandor Martin for is if he's going to try to get that mandatory out of the way in order to have a unification bout down the line. But I still don't see it.
Look, he could fight 5 opponents within the next 2 years, and you could add up all of those purses, and they still wouldn't equate to the amount of money he would make in a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Guys, all market indicators point to a rematch with Ryan Garcia. That's it. Roll the bones. Make 10 million rock in one fight. Bill Haney's not stupid. He may be ridiculous. He may sound ridiculous in some of these featurettes and some of these little nonsense videos that he makes, but he's not a stupid guy. He wouldn't have put Devin Haney in this position with all of that money that they've made up to this point if he were stupid. And trust me when I tell you this, guys, look forward and book your flights to a rematch that's going to take place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas later this year.
Where it should have been in the first place.
Yes.
But that being said, what is it? We got Kegi says that it would be even much more than that. He says it would be up to 30 mil for a Garcia match, not 10 million. We'll see.
You know what? He might be onto something because the first one was a huge commercial and critical hit, in my opinion. This one does over 2 million pay-per-view purchases, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. They, especially with it being at the site that it is, that they do this exactly right. Like, come on. And the thing about it is like both parties know that they could potentially make some good bread with the rematch. So I think they kind of have an idea that maybe they should run it back again.
Yeah, but little brother seems to think that Sandor Martin is the way to go.
No, we'll see with my guy World Rank. We'll see. But with that,
I didn't say Sandor Martin. I said that he's not facing Garcia next. That's all I said. I just say he's not facing Garcia next. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does next, but I don't think he's facing Garcia next.
Okay, so we got that.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, this is about an hour and a half in. It's 9 p.m. Eastern time. Pretty much gonna wind this down. We do have, of course, Joe Herring coming up on his channel. He will have Coach James Gogi, so y'all be able to check that out. Want to get some parting shots out here. I'm gonna start with brother Jay here. That's been first time guest on the show. Very thankful for Jay to be on here. So we'll give you closing shots here.
Yeah, appreciate you guys for having me on. Good to speak with all of you gentlemen. I'm looking forward to seeing the the Frank. I'm looking forward to seeing the Tank Davis fight most of all, and I'm gonna pick. I'm picking Martin to get it. I think that even though Martin has some obvious missteps and things like that, I think that I think that he's gonna spoil things. I'm really not sure if Tank is taking this one to the extreme of the seriousness. I know he's taking it serious. I know Tank works hard, but I'm thinking that Martin's got something in his back pocket for this one, that he's been really keyed up to get this victory. And I think it's going to be like one of those scenarios we've seen some upsets in the past, like when we saw Ruiz versus Joshua and a few other of the most recent memorable upsets. I think it's going to be one of those moments where it's a close fight, and then Martin does something to really start taking the lead. And so I'm looking forward to it. And then again, if Tank does what Tank usually does, he is like a little tank machine out there in the ring, then it's going to be easy night for him. But that's the fight that I'm super excited for. And I appreciate each and every one of you, and shout out and salute to the chat as well. Thank you guys.
Oh yeah, hey, big ups to Juice. Hey, Juice says, hey, Brother Jay does have some good tanks there. And,
yes, he does. I was very impressed. And Jay, salute to you, my
y'all
friend.
go ahead and follow Jay Pyle on on social media. He does have YouTube as well. And like I said, when I had opened up, if y'all want to get some takes on what's going on in the world and everything like that, he also joins Cannon Hotep on YouTube as well. So y'all be sure to check that out. Brother World Rank, I'm gonna go basically clockwise. Brother World Rank, go ahead and close out what you got.
I mean, I appreciate the dialogue. Y'all know, when I come in hot, and we want all the smoke. We get all the smoke. We don't care. We don't care about none of that. So, again, we respect all the callers. It's all love. Never get butthurt. But don't let nobody lie to you or tell you something without you doing your research as it's fact. Just consider that. People who could be in the game, they might even know more than you, but don't let them take you off your square, and do your research.
Gotcha. There's Brother World Ranked. Hopefully you'll be able to, come back a little bit more often here. Like I said, long time guest in the past here for the Boxing Source. So definitely thankful for him coming on in. Brother Joseph here in War Week Boxing. Your parting shots here.
You know what, James? I tell you what, it's always a pleasure to share the air with you, my friend. And guys, if you haven't already, please go bookmark theboxingsource.net, please, guys. And also tomorrow, we're gonna have a special, because I'm having surgery on Tuesday, we're gonna have a special Monday edition of Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields. But instead of Ronnie Shields, who's obviously going to be in Saudi Arabia, we're going to be featuring one of his fighters who's going to be featured on DAZN, Andreas Katsourakis. And then I have a very special, you guys are going to love this, a very special surprise guest tomorrow with James and myself on War Week Boxing. And you know what, Jay? I really wish we had gotten to talk more about the business. And, once again, I wish we had gotten to talk more about because he's right. Juice is right. You have very good takes. You're very knowledgeable. And hopefully we'll meet again. And you're more than welcome to be on War Week Boxing as well. But James, thank you for being the gracious host, brother, and putting up with my, you know how I am.
Hey, it's boxing, man. This is boxing discussion. You know how it goes. It don't matter what type of topic there is. So, it always gets to that particular point. You know what I mean? And like I said, y'all go ahead and support War Week Boxing. Of course, you're on social media there. So you look up War Week Boxing on social media and on YouTube. And for those that are listening live here on the chat, I did post a link on the chat as he's going to be live here a little bit later on, as he's going to have Coach James Gogi on his channel. So y'all be sure to catch that. And, that's pretty much it for me. We had a very good show here tonight. Very great conversation. Big ups for everyone that's joined in. World Rank, Joseph Herring, Brother Jay Pylon. here to talk boxing, and that that's pretty much what we do here. Scheduled every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and of course we do have the midweek reports Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And as Joe said, bookmark the boxingsource.net as we have articles there. Of course, the rumor mill there as well. And yeah, he says Adam Hurley says a War Week is a cool podcast. So you got the shout out right there as well. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, that is the conclusion here of the Boxing Source podcast for May 26, 2024. Like I say at the end of every show, folks, corner boxers hit, not get hit, not to stand and trade. On that note, I'm out. Have a good evening, everybody.